Welcome to Knowledge and Ignorance Podcasts with your host, me, pretty face, chisel jaw. Let's discuss. Well, it's not going to be a discussion. You're not saying nothing. Let's talk about corporate hypocrisy and the little woke useful idiots that help prop up this corporate hypocrisy. Or as I like to call them, I think the term woke has been way overused. I was using the term woke about 4 years ago. Now it's just a buzzword now. So let's call them what they are. These are corporate whores with a inflated sense of self-importance. So we can think of an acronym for that, which would be CWW, CWW. Oh, it's not going to be a good one. I'll think of it later. There's two W's. It's not working. It's going to be I can't have any acronym that goes I'll have to rearrange. I'll rearrange it. I'll come up with a nice acronym and I'll put it in the description. All right, because I'm not going to think about it now. Okay, just blow me if you don't like that. Let's face facts. We've been painted this image of what the evil corporation, I hate doing quotation marks, the evil corporation is, which is big oil, weapons manufacturers. You know what I'm saying? These are the typical industries that are just labeled as corporate evil. They're destroying the planet. Do you know what I mean? Destroying the planet. They're deforestation and obviously selling weapons to murderers. Oh, so bad, isn't it? At the end of the day, the dystopian future that we were promised, we thought that these corporations would be like that. I mean, think about RoboCop, right? You look at RoboCop and you've got OCP, and OCP are this tyrannical, massive corporation that owns the fucking police force and owns the weapons and has a weapons division. Unfortunately, the dystopian nightmare that we've been plunged into isn't as sexy as that. Instead, it's a bunch of weirdos in Silicon Valley who ride around on Segways and have thinking spaces. Weird furniture. They play ping pong in the middle of their office and probably have Jelly Baby Fridays and stuff like that. Every day's dress down day, and then there's High Five Tuesday or something. I don't know. It's the only time they're allowed to have physical contact in the office, because otherwise it's probably sexual harassment. These fucking loon bags, all right. These people are warped in the head, and the thing is, be wary of the man. Be wary of the enemy that comes with a smile on his face, with an open hand, going, "Hey, I'll help you." Malcolm X was very wary of the white liberal. He was, and he was very right to do so. Because as he said, he knew where the other side stood. The liberal, he was like, I can't remember his exact words, but it was like, "Don't trust them fools, man!" Because that's how black people in America talk. All of them. Even Colin Powell. And it's Colin Powell, by the way. Ridiculous. Anyway. But this is the fact. Now let's take your first example of YouTube with their corporate hypocrisy, because what I'm trying to get at is these motherfuckers don't give a fuck. Some people try to give them a bit of leeway on their actions, a bit of wriggle room, and say, well, they have to deal with all these problems and blah blah blah. No, they don't give a shit. This has been pretty obvious since ElsaGate. If you're unfamiliar with ElsaGate, well, you may have heard, let it go, the little cartoon fucking princess bitch. That's Elsa, right? Okay, in case you didn't know. There was a whole genre of weird shit on YouTube that was aimed at kids. That was fucking weird. Weird animations, people playing dress up with weird sexual innuendos, and and sometimes real horrific stuff involving decapitations, and it was all just very, very off key. It was rank. Some of it was fucking rank. They can go look up ElsaGate, and despite many calls of concern, despite being told about this many times. It's not like they weren't told about this shit, and this is a problem. Because these videos had just ridiculous long tail keyword titles, just all the search terms that a fucking, that a 5-year-old could, or a 3-year-old could type in to a phone. Elsa play, and the title be 26 letters, 26 words long, and eventually it'll pick up on it. Elsa play, funny, fun time. Elsa play Spider-Man. What else is popular with kids? Fidget spinners. Cocaine, and it would come up this weird shit. YouTube ignored this for a fucking long time. This stuff was on the kids app, for goodness sake. And because of them ignoring the fact that there was weird content, oh look at me going all blurry, because there was weird content for kids being pumped into kids YouTube Kids Act. And because of the dubious practices of a lot of the YouTubers that they prop up and definitely give preferential treatment to, which is a factor, it's a fact, and we'll get into that. Because of them ignoring these issues, what happened? Well, the regulators came in. I can't remember the regulator's name, but you'll be familiar with the fact that if you post any content to YouTube, well, you may have seen people talk about it. Any video that goes up on YouTube has to you either set your whole channel, is this kid friendly, or is it not? And you can individually do videos. Is this safe for kids? Yes or no? Because they got hit with a massive fine for their antics because they didn't listen. And it caused a fucking shit show. And then people blame YouTube, and then in turn they were like going, no, it's these regulators, this regulatory body, it's awful, they're punishing YouTube. It's like, well, they deserve to get punished because they didn't fucking pay attention. And they know what's been going on. They got what they fucking deserved. So good. Do you know what? Every time, I haven't even set I haven't set this channel to just non-kid friendly, because every time I kick a kid. I love kicking kids. Every time I click, no, is this not safe for kids? It just gives me satisfaction going, yeah, good. You fucking fucks. Because it's not just the Elsagate thing. As you may be familiar with, if you are in the Western world, and take a look at the trending page. The trending page is just a list of corporate whore handshakes. That's what it is. It's which corporation, has given us the most appropriate reach around this week, and that's who we're going to put higher up on the trending page. Occasionally, you'll get some anomalies, probably because there's staff working in there who are doing all this stuff. You just think, let's be funny. There was a Sam Hyde outtake from his show that got axed that made it to number 3. It's called Thank You White People. That's what it's called. How the fuck that got on there? Do you know what I mean? So there's still some anomalies, but for the most part, what you'll see is the familiar faces. And one of the more familiar and more horrific faces is Lele Pons, or Lele. Lili, Lele. Because if she's French, she'd be Lele Pons. Lele Pons. Let's call her Lele. All right. Because this is a girl who in her videos talks, absolutely fine, like an all-American girl, and then when she's interviewed, suddenly she's got this Hispanic accent going, oh, my name is Lele Pons. They done the restaurante? It's like, shut up, you're begging it. Back in the day, black kids in Tooting who'd never been to Jamaica talking full yard. It's the same. Shush. Shh. Naughty. So instead we're going to call her Lillipon. From now on, that is her name. That's how you're going to pronounce it. Okay? France is next to Spain, for those of you who are fucking ignorant. So what's the fucking difference? Do you know what I mean? People think the Welsh and the English are the same when you go to ignorant countries. America's pretty ignorant. So let's just call it what it is. Lillipon. So Lillipon is always on trending. Despite her videos, she only puts a video out once a week. And They're never over 10 minutes. I mean, this goes against all the rules of algorithms, and why everyone insists on having 10-minute videos, because that's why Rice Gum will put white noise for 14 minutes at the end of his videos to make it past the 10-minute mark. But anyway, she's always there. This is one of the faces of YouTube. Consistently makes into YouTube Rewind when Susan, dear Susan, I'm not going to try and say her surname, it's just too much. Susan, the CEO of YouTube, made her infamous YouTube debut with her channel, saying, "Hey, I want to talk to creators," and talk to Le Pen and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who was, a young kid who started off in his bedroom, just making little videos talking about Minecraft. Obviously, that's a joke. This is corporate Whoreville, all right? So this is Le Pen is big out there in the eyes of YouTube. They love her because it's kid-friendly content. It's for the kids, and the kids love it because only the kids will keep watching that shit. It's very lazily made, but you got to understand, it's like they'll write it in a day and film it in an afternoon, and they have to keep pumping out content. Making and as a person who's made sketches for YouTube, it takes a lot of work. You don't get much out of it, so hats off to the productivity. But it is toss. But it doesn't matter because it's for babies, right? It's for babies. And if you like it and you're over the age of 8, you're a retard, okay? In the disrespectful and old respectful terms of the word, that's probably what you are. So let's break it down, okay? And this shit's made for kids. This is not kid-friendly stuff. This is a bizarre paradox, if that's the right term, because her content is extremely sexualized a lot of the time, even though they'll have stuff that's her pretending to be a high school student, quite often, which is very weird and creepy. This is something that goes on in Lele Pons world, but for the most part, the consistent themes that you'll see will be misogyny, sexual, over-sexualized content, stuff with twerking in it, sex references, and the perpetuation of ethnic stereotypes. In particular, the perpetuation of stereotypes of people from her very own community, which is quite surprising. Lele Pons has absolutely no problem with just ramping up and bathing in the glory of the stereotypes thrust upon the Latin American community. No problem whatsoever. It's absolutely fine. And they swear a lot, and not just poo, bum, and bugger. We're talking fuck. I don't think they've ever dropped a cunt in there, but there's a lot of fucks. The intellect level required to find this shit funny is definitely for little kids, but the content is not for little kids. Now, there are rules and regulations on certain ages of what is acceptable for certain age groups. The fact is, you will know, she knows who her demographic is because she constantly talks about it. Same as Jake Paul. We'll get on to him. She knows. Although the algorithm, obviously the analytics, won't quite tell you because you have to be of a certain age to have a YouTube account in the first place. But let's face facts, we've seen clips of fan meetups, and you can read the comments. It's either everyone is very slow of learning, or they are just fucking children, and obviously they're children. Stuff is for little kids. J Station is for little kids. The Sharer family are for little kids. Have you ever seen one of the Sharer families when they can't remember which one it is, one of the weird ones, so any one of them, when they go meet one of their biggest fans, and he is 4. their super fan. He is 4 years old. This is who consumes this kind of stuff, obviously, right? Now, here's the problem. Because YouTube promotes itself as this progressive, all-inclusive, happiness and smiles and love and kisses, you know, the champion of the oppressed. That's literally what they promote themselves as. That's legit. They're there for the groups. You know, we support LGBT. We support the blacks. We support the Hispanics. We support all immigrants and all gays, all trans, everybody, all the oppressed. We just want nothing but love and smiles. That's why they introduce a policy where you cannot technically bully people online, which means you cannot have back and forths, slanging matches. That's why they removed iDubbbz' content cop on Leafy, because he mocks his physical appearance, his lack of chin. This is who YouTube says it is. YouTube projects that it wants to be kid-friendly. No. Advertiser-friendly. Advertisers are here. Well, no, money's here. Obviously, money's the top of the tree. Then it's the advertisers. Then it's the audience. Then it's the creators. But some creators are probably here. Like Lillipon. Lillipon is, do you understand the graph I've just described there? It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. If they want kid-friendly content, and that's what they want it to be, and they want to protect people, protect the youngsters from being exposed to hateful stuff, they say there is no place here for racism, bigotry, prejudice. Then why the hell is Lillipon constantly on the trending page and never demonetized when she perpetuates racial stereotypes, perpetuates misogynistic points of view, reinforces misogynistic stereotypes, reinforces the objectification of women, and swears her fucking mouth off like me for little babies? Jake Paul, who consistently relentlessly promotes his merchandise, relentlessly, is all it is just it's a 15-minute advert every day, bro. That's why it's called Every Day, bro. A 15-minute advert for all his things, his silly little services that he runs, his knock merch, all of that. That goes against regulatory guidelines. You watch the Nerd City video about it. That goes in deep. The fact is, YouTube still perpetuates this image of inclusivity and love and peace and care. Fucking bullshit. And just stop it, all right? Stop it. It's obvious, all right? It's so obvious. It's just not funny anymore. It's not funny anymore. You look ridiculous, okay? The problem is, all of this, there's no problems. They don't give a fuck about your kids, for starters. Okay, so they don't care about the kids. It's all just about the advertising revenue. That's all it is. They don't give a fuck about standards and about what is acceptable to show to children. They may have demonetized J Station's channel. They may have demonetized it, but they didn't ban it. Now, obviously, I'm totally against it being banned. Me. And most people would be against him being banned. But you can't ban Alex Jones and not ban J Station, because the content that he aims at children is inappropriate for fucking children. So you should age restrict it. Has it been age restricted? Demonetizing something isn't gonna fucking solve the problem. Age restriction will. You got stuff that should be age restricted because it's for fucking children. It's clearly aimed at children, but you don't age restrict it. Don't demonetize it. I know age restriction and demonetization kind of walk hand in hand because of, because of advertisers' stupid beliefs that only kid-friendly content will sell products to people with money. People with money are fucking adults, you dipshits. Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, except kiddie YouTubers. This is the point. This shit should be age restricted, not banned, not demonetized, age restricted. But these motherfuckers don't give a fuck. Because it's just a stupid bullshit image. It's a lie. And like I said before, the corporate whores with an inflated sense of self-importance will do their bidding and go, good for you, YouTube, yeah. Kid-friendly content just has comments banned from it in case there's like a paedophile exchange going on it, which there may have been on a lot of those Elsa Gate videos, so that was probably a wise move. And exposing kids to weird creepy comments is not a good idea. Okay, what these corporations do, what they hide behind is this very bizarre, there's this bizarre thing going on. It's this bizarre thing, the oppressed underclass that we should all be familiar with, which is the poor. You remember the poor? Remember the poor? Do you remember the poor people? Do you remember poor people? Do you remember poor people? Do you remember Robin Hood? He loved the poor people, didn't he? He did things for the poor people. Do you remember that? Like, you know the poor, right? You know who they are? The people that wear tracksuits and shit. Do you know? The chicken boxes and shit, They love coupons and milk tokens. You know those people, the poor people, You know poverty? You know the people of poverty? You know them, yeah, the poor. Remember the poor? The people you step over and spit on. You know the poor. You know them. Okay, good. I just remember the poor people. See, the oppressed underclasses have been just swept away. They've just been swept away. No one gives a fuck about them. They've weirdly been replaced by, obviously, sections from identity politics now. So now it's just... So now you have people who are extremely privileged. There's not just bear with me. You can have people who are extremely privileged and never had to really suffer much in their life, are now the oppressed underclass that has replaced the actual oppressed underclass as the talking point. So if you're gay, if you're trans, if you're BAME or POC, whichever side of the pond you're from, that's the term you're going to use. People of colour, or whatever BAME stands for. I can't remember what the M stands for. What is it? Miraculous? I can't remember. These groups have replaced the actual oppressed people. Now, there are people in these groups that are oppressed, but as a general thing to say these are the oppressed people is not how it is. Do you see what I'm saying? They have kind of erased them. So these are the protected classes. These are the people we must look after. There's never a mention about poverty. They say the most vulnerable people. And it will be a trans kid from Malibu or from Bel Air, wherever all the fucking rich folk hang out, Like, I'm oppressed. We support your rights, and we support your channels, and we support your cause. We want diversity here. Not diversity of thought, just diversity of, what colour you are and who you like to kiss, and where your penis is. Is it in a bin, or is it still attached? Or have you, sewn one on? This is it. This is, and by sort of bringing together this army of people that will do their bidding, they somehow convince us all that they are for the oppressed and that they care, when it's in fact these models and these corporations rely a hell of a lot on gig economies that are just for people that ain't got shit. And this is the problem, and this is why socialism is rearing its ugly head again in such a big way, because everyone thinks that capitalism is broken, but capitalism isn't broken. Corporations have been allowed to get too big, and the balance The balance between systems is off. The balance is off. Okay, I'm not really into regulation, government regulation, but there has to come a point when you got to go, you're taking the piss. Give people an inch, they'll take a mile, or in some cases 17 miles. And socialism isn't the answer. And yet these corporations, weirdly, will promote socialist ideals and will be quite happy for people with socialist ideals to have an elevated voice, because they're useful woke idiots. They are corporate whores with an inflated sense of self-importance that will run around and deplatform anybody that speaks out against them or anyone that has an alternative thought. They just let them run riot and do their bidding. They don't get paid, and they don't even get fucking paid. These corporate whores are so stupid they don't even get money for doing what they're doing. They're corporate whore slaves. At least a whore takes money. You're a corporate sex slave. That's what you are. All right, we'll just call them corporate sex slaves from now on. Corporate sex slaves. That's what's going on. And because of how the system works, and the problem, like I said, with socialism raising its ugly head, this is a system that's never worked. It's never going to fucking work. You only need to think about it for 10 minutes carefully and go, yeah, that's not going to work. That's stupid. But still, people want these broken old ideas instead of improving on an idea that is working. Capitalism works a hell of a lot better than socialism does. Like, you can just look at the quality of life that runs across the board. The problem is that we have with these rampant corporations is that they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the people at the top get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. The thing is, you do have the concept of the 1%. You got the corporate level people, and you got all these people sort of up here. But unfortunately, the gap is getting bigger. It is, because there's industries out there that are just non-existent anymore. They have been automated and replaced. And a problem you get with when people talk about economic growth, you see it in Thailand where they're now poo-pooing tourists. They're clamping down. They got a sense of self-importance where they're going, well, our economy's good now, so we don't really need all these tourists. So they're making it harder for tourists to come and visit as much, because people have been flouting the system for years. But the fact is, they were fine with it because all the revenue brings in. But the economy is doing better. But the thing is, the economy is doing better. But the people who rely on tourism, the people at the bottom of the barrel, their lives haven't improved. They're still the same. They're still in the same situation. It hasn't improved. Because inflation's the thing. The prices have inflated. Have wages for the average person shot up. The prices that you pay on the street, from street vendors, hasn't increased that much at all. It's a fucking problem. But these people go, no, we want to tax everybody, to save the planet. That's what we need. We need taxation to save the planet. Okay, we need to save the planet. We're a corporation that cares. And you're gay, and we care about you. Whereas all the poor motherfuckers are just left there saying, oh, by the way, we're going to take more fucking tax off you because the planet's burning. Okay, all right, now can you go get my fucking Uber, you piece of shit. That's what it is, man. And the only time the underclass are fighting back is with a rejection of this globalization. That's what it is. Think about these corporations that need people with 0-hour contracts. All the automation that goes out. I don't know, I had some, issues with my Skype account a few weeks ago, and the only person on the help desk there either had terrible English or they were just or spoke no English at all. I was just copy and pasting Google Translate, which is obviously not always the best way to do it. Trust me. I got very strange conversations with my girlfriend on text form from copy and pasting. It's not always a good idea. But the fact is, because it's automated out somewhere cheaper, that's the thing. Globalization, that's what it does. That's why you got the old meme going, oh no, I want to speak to someone who speaks English when you call up a call center. Well, the fact is, no, they sold us all out, and then they're going to get sold out. All the people making money in call centers in India, because they're going to be replaced by fucking robots. But everyone at the top, as they swallow up other companies. Look at Bezos, for fuck's sake. I mean, I don't describe, I have no issue with the man earning what he's earned because he has he's done it right. I mean, people, Amazon used to be a mockery back in the day, but the fact is, he owns too much. I don't have any problem with him owning all the money that he has, but he owns too much of industry. He just owns too much of retail. Like all the things you can think of, Love Film, Audible. There are more I could reel off, I just can't remember. But they've bought up so much shit. They've fucking bought everything. And this has been going on for years. Look at the music industry. There's 3 record labels on planet Earth. Well, in the Western world at least. I'm talking 3 major record labels. Obviously and they own 90% of the industry, and then you've got 10%, which is small independent labels, which ranges from fucking, some folk music label run out of the back of a van to drum and bass labels and fucking, those Mongolian death metal, just a tiny little smidgen. And there's 3 record labels on all the other fucking record labels. That's the music industry. 3 fucking record labels on planet Earth. Look at the film corporations. Look at Disney. Disney own fucking everything. They bought 20th Century Fox, Lucasfilm, Pixar. As if it wasn't bad enough that they had to, they're going to ruin everyone's childhood. I'm sorry for your childhood, Star Wars fans. And, they've ruined Star Wars, and now they're going to ruin Indiana Jones. Now they own 20th Century Fox. Well, how many Alien films are they going to pump out in the next 15 years? A lot, I'd imagine. A fucking lot. A hell of a lot. They own all of that now. Think of all the 20th Century Fox films that you like. There'll be a lot of them. Well, they're all going to get fucking ruined now, so... and their streaming services, they own too much. And then Disney are owned by someone else who owns a few of it. Do you see what I'm saying? There's too much. These monopolies and these monopoly commissions do not fucking work. Then you got Google and YouTube. Google with their weird shit. These progressive types that live in Silicon Valley are just the definition of evil entities. They really are, because they just don't. They're completely out of touch with reality, and they own information. Even just using the term Google it means you've been brainwashed into thinking that is the best way to find information is to use Google. Google ads have a huge monopoly on business advertising. Massive. It's the number one. And we don't really need to get into Facebook, do we? We don't need to discuss Facebook. And yet YouTube and Google, well, not Google really, but obviously they own YouTube, and ABC own Google, but YouTube will ban certain characters. Certain accounts will get banned from YouTube because they were mean and they were bad people. They were bad people. They were bad. No, they were bad and they had to go. Alex Jones had to go. Soph had to go. Monkey Jones had to go. I'm pretty sure Richard Spencer's still there. And of course Twitter with them banning Alex Jones as well, Milo Yiannopoulos, and then then they banned Farrakhan to make it look like they weren't being discriminatory. Just to go, Farrakhan said a few iffy things about the Jews, so he's gone. Just for PR purposes. But David Duke's still there. One of the most prominent member of the KKK still around. I don't know about Daniel Carver, if he's still alive or even has Twitter. But, David Duke, he's on Twitter. They haven't banned David Duke, which goes against everything that they seem to project that they stand for. And this is another part of the fucking problem. These corporations adopt the tactics of very iffy regimes. In fact, the tactics used by totalitarian regimes. And what do I mean by that? Think about the YouTube algorithm, Twitter's policies on what constitutes a bannable offense, Facebook's policies on what content should be removed. I've seen people sharing stuff around on Facebook and, bringing calls to action on some weird fucking shit that's still on Facebook. Alright? All this shit. No one knows what goes on with the YouTube algorithm. No one knows why you get demonetized sometimes. So there's been occasions where they've exposed hidden code. Again, a Nerd City video where it exposed the hidden code words within YouTube videos that had certain trigger words that would get you to definitely demonetized. Then they got rid of it once they exposed. Nothing's ever very clear about what they're doing. And then people make excuses for them, saying, oh, it's the bots. It's the bots. The bots are going crazy. The bots are just learning. They're self-learning. They haven't quite worked it out yet. Bollocks. Bullshit. Twitter bans one user for doing something, but another user won't ban them. Literal hate mobs ganging up on people who they consider to be far-right personalities or who have an opinion they don't like, ganging up and dishing out threats, actually threatening people. They're not getting banned. YouTube's policies on demonetization has never been clear, not that clear. What constitutes child-friendly content is a complete mystery because of who they prop up and still have monetization. No one ever knows where they stand with YouTube. No one knows. People constantly talking about it. No one understands the algorithm. No one understands their actual policies. They flip-flop around topics. They don't really give proper explanations to why things happen. And then strange shit happens on YouTube. Bizarre shit. It's either they're incompetent or they're just playing the game that is played by the many. If you look at documentary by Adam Curtis called Hypernormalization. Now and I've covered this topic before, but I'll go over it again. He talks about tactics adopted in the former USSR and in current day Russia, mainly by Vladimir Putin. Which it's like an avant-garde theory of keeping people in constant disorientation. So it's got like this propaganda guy that will pay money to far right groups and they'll also pay money to LGBTQ activists. Right, constantly playing offsides against each other, keeping people in a constant state of confusion where you don't know where you stand. YouTube play the same fucking game. Twitter play the same game. Facebook play the same game. You don't know what the regulations are. And people are constantly make videos about it, complaining about it, oh, I don't know what's going on, but I did everything. I did everything by the book. I didn't mock his appearance, and I didn't say fuck in the first. If you don't say fuck in the first 1.5 minutes, then you get monetized. Stop trying to rationalize and come up with a solution to an issue that's easily explained. That's how power works these days, is to keep you in a constant state of confusion. That's all it is. Contradictions. That's all it is. They do it in Russia. They'll do it in China. North Korea, they don't have to do that because they've got an even scarier system in place that is foolproof. So they got a different system there. So not even worth talking about, but This is political games played by corporations. There's nothing scarier than unpredictability for people. Think about unpredictable people. Think about someone who's nice and smiles and real friendly, who just suddenly switches like a schizophrenic or someone with psychosis. And then suddenly he's holding a knife to his friend. Where's my fucking money, cunt? Where's my fucking money? And then he's like, oh, look at that puppy. Oh, like, it just throws you off balance when you don't know where you stand. Think about manipulative people. Think about it's taught in the fucking art of seduction, for goodness sake. The push and pull. One minute he says he loves me, and he's real gentle and nice. And the next minute he treats me like shit. I just don't know what he wants. But you sure know your fucking place, and you will keep paying attention. To keep people in a constant state of confusion is very beneficial. It's extremely beneficial. You don't know where you stand. You don't know what fucking move to make or what to do. You are just forever at someone's mercy. That's it. That's the only answer you have. You just got to go, I don't know. I guess the universe and life is kind of like that, because you don't really have any control over anything. But when it comes to rules and regulations, these things are put in place so society gels, and so we don't have to have extra stuff to fucking worry about. So things function, and fairness is also another thing. That's why we have rules and regulation. Like, life isn't fair, but you can have a level playing field for everyone to make their own mistakes on. That's the best you can do. But when your rules are something like, oh no, today it's like fuck, and that's why people go, this is Orwellian. This is like 1984. Because today this is the number 5, tomorrow this is the number 2, or whatever he says in it. It's, you know what I'm saying? That's how they act. These fucking companies act like that. They keep you in a constant state of complete derangement. You're like going, what? I just don't understand. Like, what? It was all right last week, but now it's not. And it's like, oh my god. It's like, there are no fucking rules. But the thing is, these entities, YouTube's so big, Google's so big, Facebook's so big, Twitter's so big, that it feels like it's part of society. It feels like it's part of the government. You know, it's an everyday thing, but it's out of control, and they can do what the fuck they like. It's not that. It's not really regulated. It's unregulated. Who regulates this shit? Television in the UK got Ofcom. You know. You have health and the health and safety. The Food Standards Agency. Whoever monitors drugs. The pharmaceutical industry. Everyone's got regulators. Everyone's got to toe the line. Everyone's got to be like, no, this is this. Consumer rights. Not in that world, because it's global. Governments have played pussy towards these corporations. It's a fact. They've acted pussy. They've let it get away with tax evasion. They've let them get away with just like completely disrespecting free speech laws in certain countries. Oh, that's one other issue. But do you know what I'm saying? There's many things that they've completely just gone, nah, fuck you. But, you know, with a big smile going, yes, but we love the gays. We're not evil. Look at us with our gay friends. And secretly they're stabbing you in the cunt. These fucks. Hiding behind this facade of care and love and compassion. Because they put a rainbow flag on their fucking logo once a year. Please. And they've been allowed to just to manipulate. They just manipulate way too much shit. Just too much. They own the two biggest search engines on planet Earth, Google and YouTube. They're the same fucking company. The only difference, they've got a different CEO who hang out at the same club. It's a nonsense. The whole thing is a nonsense, and people trying to work out Anyone who's trying to sell you a strategy on how to make it on Twitter, how to make it on YouTube, they're snake oil salesmen, for goodness sake, because no one knows, because the rules just change if they feel like it. They're going, nah, I don't feel like that being the rules today. Let's just change it to fuck with people. Whatever suits them. And they'll keep, these are uber capitalists who promote socialist ideals, progressive left-wing politics. It's just manipulation. You're fucking slaves, for goodness sake. You're just consumers. You're consumerist sex slaves. You're the people that bought iPads. No one ever needed a fucking iPad. But you got one anyway. You're just consumers, completely and utterly brainwashed by consumerism. You just cannot get enough of it. The useful idiots. I mean, these are the worst of the worst. These people who think they're anti-establishment, anti-big corporations. The people who will defend a Ghostbusters remake. That's crap. The people that go, thank you, Warner Brothers, for giving us a lesbian Batwoman. Thank you, Gillette, for taking on toxic masculinity. Fight the power, brother. You fucking ridiculous twats. Seriously. Smash the system. Corporate consumerist sex slaves. And Lilliput. And that's why Lilliput's been allowed to get away with just polluting the minds of children for a profit. Because YouTube don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about anything. There's nothing they hold sacred. None of these corporations hold anything sacred. And in fact, the corporate whore mentality spreads beyond this. I mean, I'd be inclined to say the UN. I mean, look at the World Health Organization is a corporate fucking whore. Because they're pushing the propaganda of the Chinese government. Going, well, you shouldn't say anything, you shouldn't say that this is the Wuhan disease, because that gives a negative, or a Chinese flu. This gives a negative connotation towards the people of China. It's like, shut the fuck up. That is not the number one concern right now, is stereotyping. The number one concern is, are we all going to fucking die? You massive twat. The Spanish flu killed almost 100 million people. The only reason people don't talk about that because it happened in 1910. Because then we had 2 massive world wars after that, which killed shitloads of people as well. So everyone sort of forgets about that. But there was a lot of dead motherfuckers before those other dead motherfuckers. You think if you didn't have those 3 incidents, how overpopulated we'd be right now? Way worse than we are. But anyway, that's another story. That'll be my follow-up to my population control video. Oh, yes. Sorry, podcast. Well, video podcast. What's the difference these days? But they're corporate whores. Amnesty International's a fucking corporate whore, let's face it. And you got people like George Monbiot going, well, the oligarchs have put Donald Trump and Boris Johnson in power. These corporate oligarchs. He can't even fucking name them. Can't even give us names. It's just some shadowy. It's just another word for the Illuminati by people who read the fucking Guardian. All right? Shut up, numbnuts. Okay? You know what's fucking really going on? The fact that somehow these corporate idiots have somehow made certain groups of people more oppressed than the fucking oppressed. The voiceless, who the only voice they get is when they're voting now. As someone like me who thinks democracy is kind of bullshit, in recent times I've been starting to appreciate it a hell of a lot more from seeing what's going on around the world, and just looking at how the voiceless, who've been completely trampled on, whether you agree with Brexit or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is, a hell of a lot of people who don't have a fucking voice, who are the actual underclass, not this made-up underclass that they've suddenly just unleashed on us as a fucking smokescreen, so corporations can go around acting like they're the saviours of the poor, when the actual poor they couldn't give a fucking flying fuck about. So to actually see them just have one voice, which is a silent, just ticking a box and causing this much fucking upset, is fantastic. And that should make you love being alive. That should make you wake up in the morning and go, well, thank fuck we have that, because we ain't got nothing else. That's legitimate. That's the way I look at it. Because this shit is bullshit. All this stuff is it's just a smokescreen of bullshit. It's constant confusion. It just doesn't make sense. It's nonsense. These fucks. Fuck them. I could go on about this for a hell of a long time, but I feel like it's just turned into a rambling session. But I just want you to understand. There has to... Unfortunately, YouTube's become like a thing where YouTube is the television. This is the way I see it. YouTube's the television, and there's only one fucking channel. Imagine that. There's only one channel. I mean, we may have had Netflix to start with, but now we've got Amazon got a streaming service, Disney's got a streaming service, Warner Brothers got a streaming service, Apple have got a streaming service. Like, the streaming game is pretty open and wide for now. On-time video content, we've got Dailymotion and BitChute. No disrespect to my BitChute subscribers, but you know where you're at, man. It's not a place to make money. But the fact is that there's only YouTube. There is only Google, because there is. Forget what you've heard about Bing. Oh, I did a Bing advertising campaign. I made 2 sales from it. They gave me a free $50 spend. I don't know. But that's a story for another time. But this is all you got. YouTube. You got one television channel. You got one search channel. You got one fucking supermarket. eBay. And you got one charity... Amazon. And you got one charity shop. eBay. One. It might as well be you might as well be living under a totalitarian communist government where everything's just... There's the government shop for booze, the government shop for comic books, the government shop for apples. No. But with that said, I'll leave you on this sentiment. This is why when you do... This is just a massive promotion for my website, by the way. I'm that elaborate. But as small as my website is right now, it's the building blocks for something that is coming. That is being predicted. It is being voiced by people as being a trend that's coming, which you should be thankful for. And that is taking the content away and taking products away from these massive corporations, because people are starting to have an aversion towards them because of how they've behaved and because they're tax dodging, because they've just become too rich and powerful, and they clearly don't give a fuck. So that's why eventually you should have your own, we're going to bring the internet back to little mum and pop stores. You're not going to have your fucking, just your Tesco local on every fucking show, on every corner, do you know what I'm saying? You can have independent greengrocers and independent bakeries, blah, blah, blah. Do you know how things used to be? Have that. Take it away from the corporations. Everyone's got their own thing. Everyone can have their own channel. You like what I do? Click on my channel. You like what Alex Jones does? Well, he's got his own channel that's away from YouTube now. Not that that's the way he wanted it, but that's it. Think about it like that. That's a channel. And not just this. Businesses as well. From the fashion industry to technology. Everyone wants to take it away. People are moving away from Amazon. Slowly. And this is the thing. You can take your niche, your thing, and take it away from YouTube. You can just use YouTube as a hosting service. Because you can make money off your own fucking website. You don't need that to be the mercy, but we need to change the way we're thinking. And people are starting to slowly do it, but I want to spread the message, and I want other people to spread the message. I want people to go to my website if you like what I do, I want you to go on my website. Because guess what? Guess what? You can have the little fucking bell and the little subscription box on YouTube, but it doesn't always work. But you know what you can do? You can have your browser send notifications from a website at your own choosing. You can have an email subscription list. That's right, and I can email your ass and bother you. I promise I won't spam you. You'll probably get one email a month. I'm that fucking lazy when it comes to emails, but you know, I mean, I rarely text my mum, so why the fuck am I going to send you an email? But jokes aside, that is what needs to be done, and this is what people are starting to do. What people are starting to talk about. These are trends, emerging trends with business, with e-commerce especially, is to take it away, because people have had enough of this fucking shit. I think we've been so boxed in that, you know, I've had Facebook for 13 years now. I couldn't believe it. I said, happy 13th anniversary. I was like, fuck you. We're conditioned to it now. It feels like this is our community. This is the community we're in. We live here. It's like moving house. It's like leaving. You know, I think this is a study that they should conduct. Is like, you know, moving house is like one of the third most stressful things you could do. What about leaving a social media community that you've been part of for fucking 13 years? It's like, well, how do I know what anyone's doing? Well, you're going to have to think of a new way to communicate. And luckily, we have all the technology to do that, so we can take it away. We can leave. And I think we should leave. I really do. And have our own little thing. Have our own little thing. Everyone should have their thing going on. Because if you don't like the monetization, you don't like the fact that YouTube tells you what to fucking do, then it's a good place to fucking find people and then take them away. And then you can create a new ecosystem. That would be similar. So think about it in YouTube terms, the new ecosystem. So what you used to have, you know, people would do collaborations. You know, I'll collab on your video, you collab on mine, blah, blah, blah. We, you know, share traffic. You can still do that, but you're sharing it between fucking websites. You can advertise on each other's websites. You can host each other's websites. You can have fucking backlinks. There's so many ways to fucking do this and take it away. Because these motherfuckers are just pricks. They're just pricks. And all the consumerist corporate sex slaves that are running around with their mindless drivel who do their bidding without earning a single penny from them, they can fuck up. They can stay behind and become completely irrelevant. They can stay there. We'll leave. We won't set up a fucking website. We'll set up a universe. Create a universe and leave them on the outskirts of the universe. We'll call it the fucking forbidden zone, where the bitches live. How about that for an idea? People are going to be doing it. You should do the fucking same. Take it away. There's a new... Because this whole social media, this whole internet thing hasn't existed for that fucking long, and it completely changed the world in a very short space of time. We've got way better technology now. We've got blockchain shit coming. Do you know what I'm saying? There's loads of shit coming. We can change this even faster like that if everyone just fucking... You're going to have to go cold turkey, bitches. All right? But I think it's the only way to do it. And if you do like what I'm doing, go to my fucking website and like and subscribe for now. But share this around. All right? So this is Pretty Face Chiseled Jaw, a.k.a. Planet Rebus, a.k.a. you know, your mum's number one on her speed dial. So now, be good to yourselves and walk away from stray dogs.